Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we are going to be reviewing someone else's mock draft. Now, typically, me and Tyler just do the drafts ourselves, right? And then we just discuss between the two, but I figured, you know what? Let's analyze someone else who does this as well. So we're going to be looking at Ryan Wilson's draft from CBS. Obviously, you guys can check that out. Link will be in the description. We're not going to derail the guy's character or something, but we will discuss the guy's picks, obviously, and whether we like them or not. So Tyler, do you have anything to say before we get into this?
Yeah. Normally we are the ones that control it. You know why? Because we're sharp, like a tack. Yeah,
Mentally sharp.
There's a little thing up there, a little tack there. I poked myself
joke.
while I was holding the prop. Good joke. Ready to go here. Writing up a lot of profiles, a lot of fantasy valued guys for our draft guide coming out in March to April. We are grinding content right now, flying out of our ass. If you don't follow me on Twitter, Tyler Moss NFL, you should, because that's where all my updates are on not just the draft, but just overall content and film that I'm doing. Guys, this is a big time for the channel. We're going to make big bread. Marlon Mack jersey back in the Raptors. He's coming bike, baby. Marlon Mack. All right, let's go.
All right. So this guy's draft, this man's, whose name is Ryan Wilson, not to discredit him, he begins his draft with Trevor Lawrence going to the Jacksonville Jaguars out of Clemson. Obviously, we don't really need to talk too much about Trevor Lawrence. This is obviously the number one pick. There's no way, in my opinion, that anyone could even skyrocket past Trevor Lawrence. People are talking about him being the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck. So there's really no way he moves past the one pick, and he's going to head to Jacksonville. Tyler, is there any way someone gets picked ahead of him?
No. And you know what? If we're doing our personal grades, let's just go ahead and say A+, because they will get an F if they don't go with him, and they will get an A+ if they do go with him. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. So at number 2, we have a little bit different. Me and Tyler at the number 2 pick. If you guys watch yesterday's video or the day before when me and Tyler did a mock draft, we did not go with Penei Sewell to the New York Football Jets. So Penei Sewell, offensive lineman out of Oregon. This would mean that they keep mono man Sam Darnold, which is a situation that I'm not too sure the Jets fans want. I think they may feel as though Adam Gase has broken Sam Darnold's career and that it may be a down spiral unless maybe he moves somewhere else, then maybe that could change him. Could the new coaching change him? And is Penei Sewell the pick here for the Jets, or do you think they should have went elsewhere?
Listen, this honestly is like an A- pick. It's a fantastic pick for them. I mean, I'm not going to say it makes sense because I'm going to give a reason why it doesn't make sense in a little bit. But overall team fit, great pick. I think he's the number one prospect in the class. I know that sounds crazy, but he's fantastic. He's a world-class talent, and it's almost one of those can't miss. The only reason I have it as an A- is because I think the coaching staff and the GM and all that fun stuff, not going to do it. I mean, listen, you bring in a new coach, you bring in a new GM, they want their guy. Sam Darnold, probably not their guy. Mm-hmm. They're going to draft a quarterback, but we see who I think they should draft go next, and let's go ahead and yell at the screen for a little bit.
All right, so Penei Sewell, that's a good pick in my opinion. Obviously, I would go quarterback, but if they didn't end up doing that, Sewell would be the pick there to the Jets. So the next pick here, Zach Wilson to me and Tyler's Miami Dolphins. Now, to me, the reasoning behind this pick, as defined by this man, this lad whose name I completely forgot already, his name is Ryan Wilson, makes absolutely zero sense. This makes no sense at all. There is no way in fuck Zach Wilson gets taken to the Miami Dolphins. Tua literally could have been the worst quarterback I've ever seen last season, and I think that we wouldn't draft a quarterback this year. So Tua looking about average means that we keep him, in my opinion. There's no way that we draft Zach Wilson here. If this falls to us and we cannot get Penei Sewell, I think we draft a receiver. So whether that's Chase, whether that's Waddle, whether that's Smith, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, there's no way, in my opinion, we would take Zach Wilson. Comparing this to Rosen and Kyler just seems downright stupid, in my opinion, because fucking Rosen was never as good as Tua even showed in his first year.
Yeah, here's the thing with this. This was wrote 12 hours ago upon us reviewing. 12 hours ago means it would have come out at 11 o'clock on January 5th. So what that also means is that around 4 o'clock or maybe 4 or 6 o'clock p.m. Here on the East Coast, January 5th, both Chris Greer and Brian Flores both declared that Tua is their quarterback for 2021. So this is kind of a wash at this point. It's already that expired. This is what happens in these drafts. I mean, like the next day, things are changing. Zach Wilson would not be drafted here. It's impossible. If Sewell goes off, they trade down. So, I mean, it's just not even realistic at this point. They already declared the quarterback.
Yeah, but so did, if you think about it, so did Cliff Kingsbury also said Rosen's my quarterback, and then they drafted Kyler Murray. So again, I don't really believe in anything Chris Greer or fucking Brian Flores say, but at the end of the day, there's no way, in my opinion, we go with Zach Wilson. Now, number 4, the Atlanta Falcons are up to the board, and they select quarterback Justin Fields. How do you feel about this pick, Tyler?
It's good for them. I think Justin Fields is a great fit for them. You and me are probably leading the train now on we do not like Justin Fields. I have been very adamant about not liking him for a while. I thought the Indiana game, I thought last year's Clemson game was a red flag. I thought this year's Indiana game was a red flag. And then when I saw the Northwestern game, I'm like, I'm out. I can't be on a quarterback who can barely throw 100 yards, throws 2 picks, and can't rush in, can't throw in a touchdown versus Northwestern. I mean, he was completely shut down against Northwestern. You think, I get it, they're a good defense, sure. They're not the NFL. I mean, if this is an issue where you can't do this in the NFL, then you're just gonna struggle. It's just a problem. The Falcons can at least groom him. I think there's a lot of seasoning that he needs as an overall passer. 100%. There's a lot of seasoning he needs. Matt Ryan's going to be good for him. I'll let you give your opinion on him because I know you have some certain traits that you're not really all too happy on.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't think Fields will be a bad NFL quarterback. I just think, well, technically where he was picked in this draft actually makes sense to me because he goes behind Wilson. I think for sure Zach Wilson is the much more talented quarterback. Justin Fields, in my opinion, just looks way too much at his number 1 read. If you guys play fucking Madden, you know that there's that red read on the screen. It's like everyone else is green. Before you pick the play, the other guy's red. And the red guy is what Fields looks at every single time. He's looking at the number 1 read the whole time, stares him down, points his feet that way, and angles his body that way. Now, there's obviously times where he looks off that guy, right? But a majority of the time, we're seeing him, if this guy isn't open, he is going to book it. And by book it, I mean he just takes the ball, puts it in his hands, and just runs straight for trying to get that first down. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Another glaring issue, in my opinion, for Justin Fields is his confidence. He seems way too confident that whatever he does is going to be the right thing. Like his shit doesn't stink. He literally rolls out of the pocket, thinks, you know what? I'm going to throw this ball even though there's 2 guys in my face, and then he throws a pick. Or this guy's double covered, but that's my first read. I have to throw it. That is an issue with Justin Fields. Does that mean that I think Justin Fields is going to be bad? No. The guy has a tremendous arm strength, all that, but I just don't think he is the cut above Zach Wilson like a lot of people believe. Do you like Fields 3rd most, right, Tyler? 4th most?
Fields is my quarterback 4 right now. So,
okay.
Yeah, one of the lower guys on him. We can dive into the next guy, though.
Alrighty. So, Justin Fields, to me, that would get like since we were doing grades, this is like a B+ grade because, again, you can get Fields, like Tyler said, to get groomed into being potentially the guy fit-wise, that he's just not perfect. Right now.
Yeah, fit-wise, it works for me. I mean, I'm good with it.
Okay, next pick up here at number 5, we've got Devonta Smith to the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Devonta Smith, fresh off that Heisman win, which was not obviously known by the time this guy made this article, but Devonta Smith, technically the best player in college football this year because he won the Heisman. Very good wide receiver. This makes sense to me, but I don't necessarily understand why they need another wide receiver, if I'm being honest with you. I think they really should be trying to continue to protect Joe Burrow instead of looking for wide receiver. What do you think?
This team is a perfect situation to trade down. No Sewell, trade down. I mean, it's a real simple thing. Last year, there was 4 prospects that I could have seen go off whenever and would have been fine with it. This year, there's 1. Until you're out of the top kind of 10 area, I wouldn't take a guy like Slater or any of the other prospects that are kind of sitting here. The kid out of Virginia Tech too.
Farley.
Garrisal. No, not the corner, the lineman.
Yeah.
So I guess if there's no trade down, you're forced to take a pick here. Sure, that's your pick. So, I mean, I guess just give them another weapon. I mean, you're good. Higgins has developed really well. Boyd is a clear 2 in a league. Like he's as a 2 for a team, he's electric, and he can step up into the 1-2. they're kind of set to me. I guess you're getting the John Ross, AJ Green replacement, so fine. Devonta Smith, sure.
I'd argue if you're gonna go with like a receiver-esque guy, go with Pitts, right? Maybe that's wrong.
I don't think it's wrong. I mean, I think that's a great pick for them because they don't have a tight end. They haven't had a good tight end since Eifert, and Eifert is just kind of hurt for them, and it really kind of cost them because he was such a great weapon for them. You put Eifert, not Eifert, gosh, I did it. Kyle Pitts in that offense. Kyle Pitts is basically a receiver. You get the best of both worlds. You kind of already have your X and Y receivers now in Higgins and Boyd. I guess you're looking for the John Ross replacement, Devonta Smith. I mean, I guess, but go get Kyle Pitts. Like, come on. Next team.
Mm-hmm. Next team, we got the second wide receiver off the board in Ja'Marr Chase going to the Philadelphia Eagles. The team who tanked to get this pick had Giants Twitter all angry. Let's be honest, Giants fans, if you're watching this video and you're complaining, you won 6 fucking games, cry me a goddamn river. The Dolphins made 10, didn't make the playoffs, and that's okay with me because that's just how the cookie crumbles. So Ja'Marr Chase, wide receiver out of LSU, goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. Last year, they whiffed on Reagor, in my opinion. Maybe he turns out to be good, but I don't know. Do you think they need to draft a wide receiver? Or should they look? I feel like they should have just looked elsewhere.
Yeah, listen, a 4-11-1 team, right? Is that what their final record, or was it 5?
No, that was someone else. They 5-11-1.
Yeah, 5-11-1. Okay, a team that finished 5-11-1 does not add a receiver. I get it. Yeah, they need another NFL receiver. I understand. They're brutal. They also need defensive help. They need people to remain healthy. There's a lot of glaring issues. And I guess, sure, Ja'Marr Chase is great talent. He's not going to bust for you, so that's nice. It just kind of makes you look back at the class last year and just say, you know what? Reagor was just not the move. I mean, he just wasn't.
He's not bad, but like never really shown anything in his rookie season.
Yeah, so C+ for me. That's what I'm calling it. Next pick, honestly.
I agree. It has to be in the C range, to be honest with you. So next pick, a guy they probably could have taken because they could have taken him. Micah Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State, goes to the Detroit Lions. Now, the Lions are a team that I feel are in need of a quarterback, but I guess they wouldn't draft one just yet. They will be looking to get a new head coach. So maybe the new head coach pulls the trigger on a guy like Trey Lance if he's available here. I don't know. Micah Parsons seems like a very talented player based on what I've read at the linebacker position. So I think this is a pretty good pick for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Really, really good player who opted out this year. Didn't hurt his draft stock for shit because the kid's just overall fantastic. Easy linebacker 1 in this class. JOK, I guess, is a close second, but it really hasn't seemed close. Good pick for the Detroit team that needs some picks to go right, some defensive picks to go right. Solid time here. Micah Parsons, they're playing best defensive player on the board. That's what they did last year. So continue that trend here. Micah Parsons, not horrible. Jeffrey Okudah, the same last year. Best defensive player. Just do it. Your defense is terrible.
Yeah, I mean, Darius Slay was no help even when he was there at that point. Like, he's so downhill. I guess he's not even on the team anymore. Obviously, he's on the Eagles, but man, what a fall. Next guy up here at pick number 8, we got Caleb Farley, cornerback out of Virginia Tech. Now, will this cause any problem if this was to actually happen? Because I thought Surtain was the best corner based on what I've been reading.
Yeah. When I kind of look at it, I look at the important games. I look specifically as I watched the entire game. Trevon Grimes against Surtain in the SEC championship game was kind of silly. It kind of made you take a step back and just think, oh gosh, this is who we've all been slating as the one. I don't really know about that. I didn't like how he performed in that game. That was a very, very important game, very crucial game that they had to perform well in. The offense did, but he was getting burned a lot against a guy who most people don't even have going in the first 5 rounds, 6 rounds even. Trevon Grimes kind of bullied him, and you know what? I could see Farley being the first one off. I kind of like it.
Okay, so they go with a corner. The Panthers defense is in need, but they also need a quarterback as well. So I'm surprised Lance has not been selected yet. Maybe he does get picked here, and he does not. Kwity Paye goes to the Denver Broncos out of Michigan, a defensive lineman. Now, John Elway, obviously, he's been canned. They're looking for a new GM. So, legend.
Whatever.
Yeah. stepped down. He was
himself
drafting shitty quarterbacks. Yeah, he fired himself. So this, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they can stand another year with Drew Lock. Like, do they really believe in him? So they draft another defensive player. I mean, Von Miller's too busy messing with his baby mama to even show up to these games. Obviously, if anyone saw that on Twitter, that's pretty funny. Kwity Paye goes to the Broncos. This seems pretty good. Doesn't seem like a bad pick.
I mean, it doesn't seem like a bad pick. They already announced earlier. Gosh, another thing that was announced today that it's just like, why would you put on a mock on a Tuesday? No, I mean, it's a good day to put out a mock, but a few things just kind of derailed this a little bit. John Elway obviously stepping down.
It says that on here,
which was announced in the article. So good on you throwing that in there. Also at the same time, another report coming out from management coaching, Vic Fangio, saying that Drew Lock has to fight for his position this year. Does that mean that they're going to bring in a veteran to help him but compete? I hope so. I think that's the best move for them. He hasn't really had a veteran quarterback to learn behind. I guess Joe Flacco, but Joe Flacco needs to learn behind another quarterback because he's just as bad. So you can get yourself another prospect and play the game. But Trey Lance isn't ready either. Like Drew Lock, he would need time. Drew Lock coming out, when he did, but needs a little bit of time for Trey Lance. So you know what? I don't hate it. New management probably won't go with a quarterback here. It's a big splash to take. Kind of easier settling the stomach on the first draft. That's what most GMs do. They don't make huge splashes in the first draft. They try and keep their job, get into the second draft, get comfortable with the roster, then go for a big splash play. So I could definitely see an easy pick like that. Kwity Paye here goes to the Broncos.
Alrighty, next pick, we got the Dallas Cowboys doing something intelligent and selecting Patrick Surtain, the second out of Alabama. Cornerback, obviously, we talked about him a little bit earlier when we were talking about Caleb Farley. Now, the Dallas Cowboys 100% need a cornerback. They do not need a tight end. They do not need a wide receiver, but that does not mean that Jerry Jones does not believe the complete and utter opposite, because we saw it last year. They could have picked a corner. They could have picked anyone, but they select CeeDee Lamb in the first round. Will they go with Pitts? Do they go with Surtain, obviously, in this? We talked about Pitts going to the Cowboys in our other mock. So do you think Surtain will actually come all the way here to pick number 10 to the Cowboys? Or do you think the Cowboys will just go with a wide receiver or something flashy, because that's just what they always seem to do?
Yeah. It's the pick they should make. Yeah. Great job. You did what you should do, but can we count on that? What's fun in this is Trevon Diggs and Surtain are kind of be reunited in the same quarterback room, so that's kind of fun. What's also fun is Mike McCarthy is a big sharp like tack,
analytics.
Big analytics guy who probably won't take a corner because he's an idiot. Just keep out shooting him, right? Right, Cowboys fans in the comment section. We know that you guys love just out shooting guys instead of just, I don't know, winning games. I'm pretty sure they're 0. I think the stat drop, they were 0-16 in the past 2 years when they didn't score 30 plus points. I'm not joking. It's a mess.
Makes sense.
You need points. But you also need to stop people from scoring them. So go get you a guy that can do that, I guess. I do like Farley better, but not a bad pick. Good for them. I hope they do this. Now, well, I don't because I hate them, but I hope for the sake of the sanity of their organization and the fans that cheer for them, I hope they make this move because this will help them win more games. And if they don't win more games, then those same fans are just going to go pull for the Lakers and the New York Yankees and all the other teams. That
Go Yankees, baby. Next pick up here, we got Elijah Vera Tucker, offensive lineman out of USC. Go Trojans to the New York Football Giants. Tyler, I've never even heard of this guy, Vera Tucker. How does he get picked here at pick 11?
Yeah, him, Slater, Darisaw, the next four. The next three. So I don't hate it. They need to take line because Andrew Thomas needs time or sucks and needs to drop off the planet. But they needed line even if Andrew Thomas did work out. So you get yourself more line. Daniel Jones, no more excuses this upcoming year. I mean, you get him a weapon, say, in the second round. I don't know this. We're not doing to the second round. I don't know if he even did. Get him an extra weapon there, and then no more excuses. If he doesn't work out, you get a quarterback the next year. You just do.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Giants fans will actually, I think a lot of Giants fans will be pissed if they do not select a receiver here, based on what I saw in the comments of our other video. So, next pick here, we got the San Francisco 49ers, everyone's favorite 49ers, selecting Trey Lance, quarterback out of fucking South Dakota or something like that. 6'4",
Dakota
Mr.
State.
Where does he go?
North Dakota State. I love you.
Did I say something wrong? Did I say South Dakota State?
It's South Dakota. Yeah, they're the same thing now. Dakota's
NDSU, same thing.
NDSU.
So, yeah, I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo is not the answer. Kyle Shanahan recently said that Jimmy Garoppolo is his quarterback for 2021. That is complete and utter cap. All right, even if he is, Trey Lance will be the guy for the future. Jimmy Garoppolo isn't good. I've said this for years. I believe this for years. He is just that Patriots quarterback. He's a good-looking man, but he's not good at winning football games. If the 49ers had a legitimate quarterback 2 years ago, they would have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs, and we wouldn't have the Mahomes suck off every single time you watch a football game. So Trey Lance does seem like a very good pick here, but if he falls to I would be surprised if he fell this far, to be honest with you. I would be surprised, I should say.
Yeah, here's the thing with Lance. He needs to go behind a quarterback that's already kind of set and established. Perfect situations for him would be the Lions, if the Lions wanted to be crazy and do that shit. The Falcons, we already talked about it with Fields. The Niners, great pick for them. This is a situation you need to go behind an experienced quarterback, let them kind of take over to start, and then, you work your way in. I think he's kind of a Tua type, where I think you should sit the entire year. Let Jimmy, even if it hurts you, you just got to take it on the chin, because the next year after that, that's when you can kind of strike. He's going to need a little seasoning, but not a bad pick for them. Actually, a great pick, fell right into their lap. So great pick there for 12.
All right. At number 13, we have, that's tough if this actually happens. Kyle Pitts to the Los Angeles Chargers at pick 13, former Florida boy. Shout out to Tyler. Pitts, based on what I've seen from this guy's a fucking beast. He could play tight end, receiver. I wouldn't be surprised if the guy could play quarterback. That's how talented he is. This is a smash pick. If Herbert had a tight end like Kyle Pitts, these Chargers fans are going to be nutting their pants all offseason long.
Gibson, Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, this is amazing right here. Kyle Pitts, the Chargers, perfect fit. How long does Hunter Henry have left on his contract? Is he just getting canned if this happens?
He was signed to a franchise tag this year. So this would be them waltzing out of the Hunter Henry sweepstakes, saying, there you go, Patriots, finally get yourself a tight end. This is only happening if they decide not to continue to keep with Hunter Henry. I don't see why they wouldn't. Been very, very solid option for them. So I would keep with him. But not what they want to do here. And they go Kyle Pitts. So clearly in this simulated world, they decide to let Hunter Henry walk. So, I'll give it to him. Not a terrible pick. I'd say Kyle Pitts is probably my opinion, and I'm going to say this right here on stream and go ahead and get roasted for it. I think he's the best offensive threat in the class. Not including quarterbacks, but as wide receiver, running back, tight end, he's the biggest to fear. I mean, I think he can make immediate impact and be explosive, which we do not see out of the tight end. I'm ready for Kyle Pitts to come out. I'm getting a Kyle Pitts jersey no matter what team he goes to, so I really hope it's not the Chargers/Patriots. I'd kill myself.
All right, Rashawn Slater, next pick up out of Northwestern. Shout out to Northwestern for almost slaying our boy Justin Fields. So Rashawn Slater.
He did slay. The offense didn't.
Offensive lineman. So the Minnesota Vikings, I don't know if they need offensive line that bad, but it seems as though if this is a guy that can protect Mr. You like that Kirk Cousins, then this offense should be even better next year. They have a very strong wide receiver core, very strong running back. This is an offense that's very good, but I don't understand the pick in reality because I think they need defense.
Yeah, I think they do too. I guess they have like a few slots they need to fill in on offense, but I would really just focus on defense. I mean, I guess you're getting the falling value here. I kind of am looking in this article, and I don't know who their number 2 offensive lineman rank is because he's not picked later on. So that's kind of interesting. Wow. I skipped through this and I'm looking way too ahead. So yeah, anyways, I would say they need to address defense. Line would be great. Secondary would be better. Please help your defense. What are you doing? JC Horn on the board? Like, go get a guy like that. I don't know about this move. This is kind of wacky. Very wacky.
Wacky inflatable arm tube man. So I don't love that pick. Oh, geez. At number 15, the New England Deflatriots select Mac Jones, quarterback out of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, this is tough. This is big tough because Mac Jones seems like he might be good. And as a Dolphins fan, I don't want the Patriots to have a good quarterback. I'd love if Cam Newton was there for the next 15 years because that guy sucks. All right. But I guess they're going to move on from him and select quarterback Mac Jones out of Alabama. To me, this seems like a good pick for the Patriots because they definitely need a quarterback. What do you think?
Here's the thing. There's 3 quarterbacks in this class that I think are good, but need help. Justin Fields, I think, is one of them. Kyle Trask and Mac Jones. So we see Mac Jones go off here. If you don't have wide receivers, you don't have offensive line, they're going to struggle. It's just what it is. I think they all clearly have proven that they need help in order to be effective. Mac Jones, get him some wide receivers. I mean, it could work, but get him some wide receivers. I think he's very ready. I think you can play him relatively early, and I don't think it's going to hurt him. I mean, I don't mind it. Mac Jones is going in the first round. And I think Kyle Trask is just as much a chance of going in the first round. Like, I don't get this draft Twitter that thinks it's like the most preposterous thing ever to see these guys go in the first round. There's so many teams that need quarterbacks and really not that great of options just floating around. You got a lot of veterans who we thought, oh, cool, they're on 1-year deals. They're going to prove it and get signed, like Cam Newton and Phillip Rivers. No, that's not a thing. Like, go get young. That's how you succeed. Obviously, we see the Chargers. We see the Bengals before Burrow got hurt. You survive off of young talent. You got to get young quarterbacks. I mean, it's just do it. This is not a terrible pick. He just needs help. So get him some wide receivers.
Yeah, which is going to be an issue because the Patriots do not know how to draft wide receivers. Next pick here, we have Mr. Jason Away, edge rusher out of Penn State for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals, we mocked them a wide receiver, I believe. That seemed like a more electric pick, but it does make sense they would like to add on to that defense, considering their offense is relatively strong as of now. To me, this seems like a good pick. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I like it. I think getting more edge rush is nice. Having young edge rush develop in, especially behind Chandler Jones, is one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
Very underrated there. I like it. I mean, get some pressure on the quarterback. Obviously, the secondary showed up in a big way this year. Very underrated secondary. Was fantastic. Kind of underratedly this year. The offense is there at times. Sometimes Murray struggles, and I don't like that. I think you address some offensive pieces later. Maybe you get a wide receiver, very deep class. You get a wide receiver. You get maybe a running back, and you see what transpires from there. But don't hate the first pick. You're kind of getting one of the better talents on the board. I think that's a very solid chance. That's what they do. So don't mind it.
Alrighty, next pick here. We got the Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders select Tyson Campbell, like the soup, cornerback out of Georgia. The Raiders defense was bad last season. I agree with exactly what this author said. So the Raiders, will this help them out at all, or should they have went somewhere else? Obviously, last year their pick at wide receiver didn't help them out too much. Shout out to Bush. Henry Ruggs is garbage.
Resident Georgia fan in my household. Not a big fan of Tyson Campbell at all. Stepdad Jay has made an appearance on the channel in a live stream one time. He's an absolute goated legend. Falcons beauty. Not a big fan of Tyson Campbell. I don't blame him. Just not. I don't know. I don't think he really has that it factor. But the Raiders are really horrible at drafting, and if he does go in the first round, which I think he's a second round guy, it would go to a team like the Raiders who love just reaching on talent. So sure, Tyson Campbell goes here. I don't know. I mean, you need guys to get after the quarterback. You were 30th in pressure. Like, that's horrible. Like, go help yourself by getting edge or D line, please. Okay, I'm done.
All right, next pick here. We got the Miami Dolphins. Here we go, Tyler. They did exactly what we wanted. Jaylen Waddle, and I waddled away, waddle, to the very next day to the Miami Dolphins, Alabama wide receiver. Obviously, Tua is playing with this man, but the irony, just like this guy said, because we're fucking stupid, we drafted a quarterback early on, so now the chemistry is going to be gone, but I think this is the correct move if Waddle was here. There's no way we draft Zach Wilson. Tua and Waddle would be very, very nice, as Borat would say. For the Miami Dolphins, we need wide receiver help. Very bad. The wide receiver core there is abysmally bad. I understand Preston Williams might be back next year, but Jaylen Waddle has the potential to be better than fucking Devonta Parker. So Jaylen Waddle could easily be the wide receiver one of this Miami Dolphins team. What do you think?
I would hope any wide receiver we drafted in the first 2 rounds would be better than Parker, because Parker is
Parker's not. You say he's horrible, but he's compared to the other guys, he's good.
He's Corey Davis. You need a clear 1 on your team for him to even be effective as a 2. Like, it's just awful. Like, he's so bad. And you know what? People, I feel like, I don't know, I didn't really read the comment section too much, but people are giving shit on, at least to me, about Waddle's not going to fall. Well, Waddle's coming off of a serious injury, and I think he's going to be used as a decoy in the natty, but I don't think he's going to be realistically used. Listen, he's not going to be so high in drafts. The first two will. Waddle just, I can't see it. I see him falling to the 18. I see the Dolphins licking their chops and taking him and rushing to the board, but I get why they would and some other teams wouldn't. Him go to 18, you know what? That's fine. Go Dolphins. That's a good pick. Zach Wilson. What are you, a fucking clown? Who is this guy?
Yeah, two injured Alabama guys coming to the Dolphins. Let's do it. Next pick, the Washington football team goes with Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech. Now, they draft an O-lineman, but obviously, just like this article says, they need a fucking quarterback. Are they going to roll out Alex Smith again? Who do they get to play quarterback? They cut Dwayne Haskins. Could Jameis Winston revive this team? I have no idea what's going to happen. So I am a bit confused why they wouldn't go ahead and draft a guy like Kyle Trask, but maybe that's just my thinking that, you kind of need a quarterback to win, especially if you have such a great defense like the Washington football team has. Why not get a quarterback and potentially actually be able to win rather than getting soaked by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Saturday, which is exactly what's going to happen. So do you like Darrisaw to the Washington football team?
Yeah, I don't mind it. Obviously, they have a few line holes that they do need to clear up. Some guys leaving last year creates this issue. Yeah. Reaching on a quarterback is not a Washington thing. It's not a Ron Rivera thing. So I don't see it happening. Good pick here, Darrisaw. I like him. I think he's a very, very talented guy. Overall, solid pick for them. I mean, nothing I can really scream about for an offensive tackle going to a team that needs, I guess, one offensive tackle. Sure, good pick. Great job. Farm value, good pick. Go. All
right, next pick goes to the Chi-Town Bears, who select another one of Tyler's boys, Kadarius Toney, Florida senior wide receiver. Now, the Bears, is Darnell Mooney legit? Darnell Mooney has actually looked pretty good, but he's obviously not a number one guy. Allen Robinson, maybe on his way out, hopefully to my Miami Dolphins. I pray to the fantasy gods, or the football gods, I guess that is. So Kadarius Toney goes to a team that needs a wide receiver with Kiss and Titties Mitchell Trubisky. I like it a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, what I think is that USA just beat Canada in hockey. Clearly, USA is the goated team in hockey. I mean, this is just obvious. As far as this draft goes, Kadarius Toney, what a pick. I love it. I think he's a first-round guy because of his skill. Mecole Hardman, we didn't think he was all that great. But, hey, speed, agility, quickness, getting away from people, dodging tackles, shiftiness. That's the kind of stuff that NFL teams look for. They can develop everything else. I think he's an NFL ready guy. I think he's a very talented guy. All these people that talk about him not being good because he just broke out this senior year, please look at the fact that Swain, Jefferson, Cleveland, three guys who are actively on starting NFL rosters right now. Van Jefferson starting for the Rams. Freddie Swain for the Seattle Seahawks. He's caught like 4 touchdowns this year. He's a legit human being. And Tyreek Cleveland, who people are saying now, after this past week, is a really, really good option for them. So, you know what? Judy, him, and Sutton and Hamler next year is about to be really, really good for them. I'm happy. Deshaun Hamilton as well. But these are 3 starting NFL caliber guys that literally just left the team last year. There wasn't that many available targets for him to just collect up. And even this year, you have Grimes, you have Pitts, you have Copeland, you have really, really good receivers on the team. And he found a way to finally shine this year. I mean, this is the prospect we've always seen. He just finally got the more volume this year. I love this pick for the Bears. Bears need exciting playmakers because they got to hide their quarterback. Matt Nagy did a fantastic job the year the Bears won like 13 games, right? He did a fantastic job at just hiding Mitch. That's all you got to do. Hide Mitchell Trubisky. If you can hide him behind star players like this, it's going to elevate Mitch. And you're going to be asking yourself, okay, why are we questioning Mitch anymore? He's actually looking pretty good. It's kind of the weapons. The weapons are going to carry him. When Drake's out there, he looks better. Allen Robinson's leaving. You're going to need a receiver. Great pick for them. Good job, Matt Nagy. I think this is a smart move. Don't get a quarterback. Smart. Big win.
Alrighty, next pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Building more on the defense, going J.C. Horn out of South Carolina, cornerback. To me, this is a good pick. Obviously, it says they drafted fucking C.J. Henderson last year. While that didn't help them out a whole bunch, I mean, they need a whole lot more pieces than C.J. Henderson. They have one of the youngest teams in the NFL. Adding a defensive piece with Trevor Lawrence seems like a really good idea, considering the Jaguars' wide receiver core is already pretty good, and their defense really needs a lot of help. They're no longer the Saxonville Jaguars with Jalen Ramsey. They are a not so good defense. So what do you think about Mr. Horn going to the Jaguars?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. I guess now you have two really good corners on your team. You kind of just built back what AJ Bouye and Ramsey were. I'm not comparing those two to those two. We did. Horn and Henderson. But you know what? Sure. You've always had good secondary, kind of rebuild that back. Fine. You need some linebackers. You need some guys getting to the quarterback too, so that these guys don't look like shit, because Horn and Henderson can only do so much if you can't get to the quarterback, and you got it. Okay, sure. You get a corner. They need a lot. So you know what? I can't be bashing their picks. Fine. We'll take it. Let's pounce on. I mean, it's kind of like the Washington team's pick. I mean, it's just how excited can I be?
All right, next pick, the Indianapolis Colts select Darien Kendrick, cornerback out of the Clemson Tigers. Now, the Colts have a very strong team, in my opinion, and our team that here could have taken Kyle Trask, because there's no way they're keeping Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is not the answer. They literally just need an all-right quarterback, a guy who's not going to turn the ball over and make stupid decisions like Phillip Rivers does later in games where he just chokes. I understand going defense, but their defense is so strong that, to me, the only missing piece of this this whole team is a quarterback. So what do you think about Darien Kendrick out of Clemson going to the Indianapolis Colts?
Gosh, it's way too early for him. I'm not ready to take him here in the second round. I think he's all right, but I mean, this is just, I think it's a little bit of a reach here. I get that it's not a strong cornerback class. Fine. Last year's kind of was a lot of really good prospects last year. I mean, I think Horn's better than him. I think this is kind of a, sure, if you want to throw him into the top four, I mean, okay. But I don't know. It's just, I don't know what the Colts are going to do here. I don't think this is the move, but I mean, we can float with it and say, you know what, fine. He goes here. Gosh, I mean, I'm trying to think even what their needs are. I guess wide receiver and quarterback. I mean, that's kind of what they need the most. But sure, we'll go Darien Kendrick and get a reach on a secondary piece. Why not? Trade out of the pick, though, if this is what you're going to do.
All righty, next pick to the Cleveland Browns, Mr. J. Okay, out of Notre Dame, linebacker. The third ranked linebacker, according to this website. Is he your second best?
Yeah, I mean, it's like he's right behind Parsons. I don't even know. Maybe we already passed him. Who their one was? Going back and looking.
Their one was Parsons, obviously.
They're two. I'm sorry. I'm a clown.
No, okay.
Okay, well, I can't even find their two. This is weird with their rankings. Like, I don't even know who their number two offensive tackle is, because it's not even like here. But sure, JOK going this fall.
Tyler, you're back. You did lag out for a little bit. Go again.
Okay, so I'll kind of just recap what I just said. This is ridiculous for JOK to fall this far. It is clownish. The fact that he's picked 23. You know what? Browns normally don't make good selections in the draft. This is a fantastic one, because you're just taking and I know they need a linebacker, but you're taking the best guy on the board right now. I mean, I'm kind of looking at who comes after. I think he's by far the best one. He's fantastic for Notre Dame. He's a tackling machine. I absolutely love this for the Browns. I just don't think it's realistic. There's no way he falls to 23. He falls to 23? Like, what? But yeah, great pick for the Browns. If he falls in your lap, you need to be salivating and smiling, because this is a great thing for you guys. JOK, really good talent. So good for the Browns.
All righty. Next pick, we got Jalen Phillips, defensive lineman out of Miami, to the Tennessee Titans. Now, just like the author said, the Tennessee Titans pass rush is fucking terrible. Their defense as a whole isn't all that great. That's kind of why you see them getting to these shootouts with these teams. Like we may end up seeing this weekend with the Baltimore Ravens. We've seen it twice this year with the Houston Texans. We've seen it even when Tennessee played against the Colts both times, high scoring games up against the Packers. They win these games by scoring a bunch of points. Now they lost to the Packers, obviously, because they couldn't score that many points. And that's the biggest issue. You can't rely on Tannehill and Derrick Henry to win every single game, and AJ Brown, obviously, for you. So to me, I understand the pick going defensive lineman. I believe we picked them a wide receiver since Corey Davis is leaving, which also makes sense. Yeah. But adding on to a defense that is already not too hot does make sense. But would Jalen Phillips be the pick here for you?
Yeah, I really don't mind it. I guess you need defensive help really badly. Getting pressures, which they were horrible at this year. I have, right up there with the Raiders, and just like teams that like you're good, but why can't you get to the quarterback?
Yeah.
So yes, add to the defensive line. Interior, good pick. I can roll with it and move on. There's not a lot of good interior defensive linemen in this class. There's none that I grade in the first round. But you know what? You got to take one because you can't get to the quarterback. You should probably get an edge later on this draft as well if this is what your move is. Fine. Tennessee, please get some pressure on quarterbacks. It's going to hurt you against Lamar this week. I mean, I'm feeling it.
All righty. Next pick here to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tampa Bay Tom Brady. Christian Barrymore out of Alabama, defensive lineman for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Vita Vea obviously coming back next year, but their defense is pretty strong, but to my opinion, they've kind of not looked as good as they looked early on in the season. So how do you feel about this pick to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? They don't really need any offensive pieces, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, develop a interior defensive lineman. It's fair. You have some guys that can roll there. He'll be in the rotation, and you can grow him behind some pretty solid overall prospects that they had. And I just realized real quick, and I'm sorry that I'm doing this, CBS has Jalen Phillips as the 103rd prospect rank, and they took him at the 24th pick. So I'm so sorry, Titans. That's why I'm not excited about that. But Barrymore's not bad. Sure, get another rotational piece with Veda. You already have a really good pass rush. It's just going to kind of get better with this move. So good on you. You don't need offensive help. I guess just add to the defense a little bit. Fair. Works for me.
All right, next selection for the Baltimore Ravens. Gregory Rousseau, edge rusher out of the Miami U. Baltimore do need more defensive pieces. Baltimore is a team as well that I find it very hard to find like humongous holes in. I'd actually be more interested in them picking a wide receiver that wasn't just a speedster and them having like a clear number one guy on that offense, if I'm being honest with you. Edge rusher does not seem, in my opinion, to be the biggest of things that they need, but maybe I'm wrong again, and Rousseau here would really help them out a lot. So what do you think about Mr. Gregory here?
Yeah, I don't mind the edge pick. A lot of drafts have him just tumbling down the boards, and I guess this is what's going to happen. I mean, he had 15 sacks last year, just per this small little write-up they had in there. I mean, gosh, I didn't think he was that good. I know he was very impressive for Miami, but gosh, that's something else. Greg Rousseau, not bad for the Ravens. Get yourself some pressuring. I'm tired of them taking wide receivers because they just fail them, and it hurts my feelings because I like so many of the wide receivers in this class. I don't want them to fail behind him. But you know what? Sure, edge rush. So you don't ruin another receiver and kill fantasy value. Yeah, great.
All righty. Next pick here is for the New York Football Jets, selecting Terence Marshall Jr., LSU wide receiver. What do you think about this? I don't know why the fuck they just picked another receiver.
Yeah, it's clownish. I get it. They need to get themselves some weapons. I get it. I do. I know Jets fans. You guys hate us because we just hate you guys so much. But I'll go ahead and give you my ranking for Terence Marshall because I did pull it up. I have him, and I know it's really kind of low, and I'm not really too excited about my wide receivers, not flexing them yet. But I have him as the 3, 7, 10, a 10th best prospect in this class at the wide receiver position. And he is now the 4th wide receiver off the board. I think Bateman, I think St. Brown, I think Rondell Moore. Kadarius Toney obviously was taken earlier in this. I love Daz Newsome. Some Tamarian Terry as well as an electric playmaker. Terrence Marshall, though. Classic Jets. What a pick. Ninth receiver for CBS. CBS just knows the Jets are idiots. So
That's true. Aziz Ogilari gets picked to the Pittsburgh Steelers next. Now, how in the world is he a freshman and he gets to come to the NFL? Am I just dumb?
He's not a freshman.
It says Georgia freshman on the screen. It's probably wrong. I'm just saying that's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's not right.
Right. Fake news. So
I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling at CBS for being clowns. Maybe he is. Maybe it says he's a redshirted freshman 50 times. But this is a fantastic pick. I think them having him as the 97th prospect, don't look too into that if you're a Steeler fan hawking the screen. I think he's a really, really outstanding talent from the linebacker position, outside linebacker position. I think he's a really, really good pick for you. I think you should be excited about this. This will just help bolster the defense. There you go. I mean, you can get after the quarterback if you need him to. Decent coverage. You know what? Let's roll. If you really want to get excited about this man, please go watch the Cincinnati game. He was fantastic in that bowl game. Aziz Ogilari is terrible. I'm terrible at pronouncing it. It's fantastic. You should be very excited to be picking up a guy like this. I don't really think you need to go with the best available. I don't think you really need to go with your most need. Just get yourself your guy. If you're picking this late, which is pretty likely in the first round, get yourself a guy that you're gonna put your marbles into. You're gonna trust into. I think that's what you do in the later first rounds. The Jets did it with Terrence Marshall, which is clownish. The Steelers make a good pick here and go Ogilari.
No, I agree. The Steelers. That's a good pick for the Steelers. I think they could also go running back. The pick that the Saints made, Najee Harris to the New Orleans Saints. This makes no sense. I don't know if you're looking at my face, but I highlighted over it. I was like, this makes no fucking sense. Alvin Kamara isn't going anywhere, but Latavius Murray's 30 years old. Shut the fuck up. All right, that makes no sense at all. Najee Harris is not going to get drafted to the Saints. You want to know why? Because Najee Harris is like Alvin Kamara. He can catch passes. He's not like Latavius Murray. Latavius Murray is like a thumper. All right, Najee Harris is not that. I don't understand this at all. If they were to draft a running back in the first round, wouldn't it just be ETN? But why would they do that either? That to me just makes zero sense. Rather than draft a receiver, rather than draft anything over a running back, it makes zero sense.
The article literally said that if the Chiefs did it in 2020, they bolstered their running back position with the number 1 pick. You know, the Chiefs don't have, and who they were drafting for because they didn't have it in 2020 for the 2020 draft. They didn't have Alvin Kamara, a top running back in the class, not in the class, a top running back in the NFL. Like what?
This makes no sense.
It's like what's happened in the second round. The Giants are taking ETN. Like, what are you fucking kidding? What are you mad? Like, what is
Christian McCaffrey and ETN on the Panthers? God damn.
I don't even want to talk. He doesn't deserve. This guy hasn't been terrible, but this was just what the fuck.
All right, next pick, not going to be Charlie Dickens, the kicker that we picked him. Zaven Collins out of Tulsa University, linebacker, goes to the no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills defense, in my opinion, overrated. Zaven Collins fills in nice there, in my opinion. Well, I don't know too much about him. I know that they need some fucking linebacker help, so I like that pick.
I do. I love this pick. I love Zaven Collins. I think he was Defensive Player of the Year in the NCAA. I'm sorry. When I think of college football, I just think of the SEC.
Pain for any of those Big 12 fans.
Yeah,
all 12.
Collins. Yeah, he's a very, very good talent. I think this is almost like a dream fit for me. I think the Bills are going to go with him. It works for me. It should work for you, Zaven Collins. Let's roll, baby. I like this pick. I love this pick. Right. I don't like it. I love it.
Next pick, Troy Bolton's brother, Nick Bolton, linebacker out of Missouri. The Packers need help in the middle of their defense, which is what this says. The Packers, to me, will never pick a wide receiver like I would want them to, so it makes sense that they go defense, considering their defense isn't all that amazing.
Corner could have been another move. I know the Packer fans are probably like, why didn't they go corner? Like, we need corner. Like, we just have one.
It's true.
That's fair.
Xavier Alexander. I remembered his name. We forgot about him the last time.
We did. And I just missed. I'm terrible at remember cornerback name. Don't get on me for that. Sorry, guys. But Nick Bolton and Zaven Collins are both two guys that I have really, really close together. I do not care the order that they go off. This is the order they go off. I think it helps both teams. Great job by the Packers there. Address the defense because you'll never address the wide receiver. What a week kidding. And this will be I guarantee you're going to see mocks for days to give you a wide receiver. Don't believe it. If they don't do it, they just don't do it. Why would they ever do it?
Wow. All right. Final pick of the draft to the Kansas City Chiefs, who they assume win the Super Bowl. My pick to win the Super Bowl is the Buffalo Bills. Joseph Osai to the Chiefs out of Texas, linebacker. This pick also makes sense because the Chiefs defense could be better and they don't need any fucking pieces on offense.
Yeah. Behind Bolton and behind Zaven Collins. But not a bad pick. I think these are 3 linebackers that can make solid effect in the NFL the upcoming year. They obviously address defense, don't address offense. What are you, silly? So good pick on them. Linebacker to wrap up the draft. Nick, we've had a fun time today, haven't we?
We've had a great time. Aside from the beginning when the Dolphins, for some reason, drafted Zach Wilson, which even if Brian Flores didn't say that, which he did, that we're sticking with Tua, it still makes no sense in my mind. There's no way the Dolphins draft Zach Wilson. I would bet my life on it.
Yeah, they won't. I mean, that's crazy. As far as favorite draft picks, do you have a certain team that you have a favorite draft pick for? Because I kind of have. I'll give a shout out for 3 teams. We'll give. I want to say more, but we'll narrow it down to 3 teams. Okay, so number 1, for best fit, I would say Zaven Collins going to the Bills. I love that pick. I think it's a fantastic pick. You should look for him because I think he could still be there. I love Zaven Collins a lot. Roll with him. Great pick for them. That's my number 1 pick of the draft. You're next.
All right, my next pick, it's going to be the Dolphins. Taking Jaylen Waddle. The Dolphins need a wide receiver. I'm a Dolphins fan, so obviously it's going to be a bit exaggerated here, but we need a wide receiver. This is a must-need move for the Miami Dolphins. If we did not draft a wide receiver, Tua is just going to be set out to fail again because we literally have no one outside of Gesicki and Parker. And like Tyler said, Parker's not even all that great. It's really just Gesicki out there. So I think that's a great pick. Do you have another one or do you want me to give another one?
Yeah, I got 2 more. I know I'm crazy. I couldn't narrow it down, but I narrowed it down to 3. Kadarius Toney, fantastic pick for the Bears. This is a hide Mitch move. Matt Nagy did a fantastic job in his first season with the Bears where he hid Mitch as much as he could with gadget fun plays. Bears fans, you remember that offense? You liked that offense. You didn't mind Mitch back then. You loved all the weapons you were having and all the fun gadget plays, and you loved Matt Nagy and you loved the defense that you had. You got Kadarius Toney. These gadget plays come back. You can come back with these fun offense. I love it. Great pick there, Kadarius Toney.
Great success.
Even though it's a light reach, I mean, it's a great pick for them. Nice job.
All right. Do you want me to give one?
If you have one more, sure, because I have one more.
All right, I do have one more. I love Trey Lance, the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco 49ers are missing one piece. They got the defense. They got the receivers. They got Debo. They got the other guy whose name is escaping me. Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, they've got Ayuk. They have the running backs, even if it's just a ragtag group. You know what they need? Yeah. Trey fucking Lance, who will be like Jimmy Garoppolo, but better. That's all they need. Just a slightly upgraded version of Jimmy Garoppolo, who's not afraid to air the ball out. Trey Lance. I love this pick. I would prefer, I guess, if it was any of the 3 guys ahead of him that I have ahead of him, which would be Fields, Lawrence, obviously, or Wilson. But obviously, that's not going to happen. There's no way any of those guys fall outside like the top 8. So Trey Lance, the San Francisco 49ers, I really do like that pick. I think this could really help out Mr. Kyle Shanahan. So what's your last one?
So the one I had to keep out was Justin Fields going to the Falcons. We talked highly on that. Great job, Falcons fans. I like that move. It's for them. But my pick will be the Browns. Yes, the Cleveland Browns, Tyler's least favorite team. Going with JOK here, a falling value. If he falls to you, you need to buy his jersey because this kid is fantastic. Go watch Notre Dame and watch the defense and you will see him. You don't need to look for him too much. You're going to hear his name. He's fantastic. He's all over the place. I love JOK. I love this fit to them. Look at the Browns making smart moves. Just pick the guy. Just pick the guy who's going to fall in your lap. I mean, that's a gorgeous pick. You need a linebacker anyways. Let's roll. Those are all my picks.
Unlike former Notre Dame defensive stud, I bet you this guy actually has a girlfriend, unlike Manti Te'o. So thank you guys so much for watching. Boom roasted. Tyler, do you have anything to say?
I love that. Guys, our draft guide is coming out soon. We are excited for it. There's going to be a lot of things going on. Just a little tease for the audience. We're having player write-ups in there. We have strategy write-ups. We have some film. We have some perfect drafts going out there. There's a lot of great tools in here that's going to help you kind of not just understand the overall draft and who your team drafted, but also understand fantasy and where these guys are going to fit in fantasy wise. Who's going to be the most valuable. You'll have our rankings in there. A lot of great stuff going in there. We'll have pre-orders out for it. This is going to be stuff that wins your league. We hope that we helped you win your leagues this past year. We want you to reinvest into us this year to continue winning, because you know what a league hates more than a winner? A back-to-back winner. And that's going to be you. Lead yourself to victory once again by following the Notorious Fantasy way, baby.
Dab. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button as well. Follow Tyler on Twitter at Tyler Moss NFL, me on Twitter at Notorious FNTSY. If you guys want a different mock, a different vibe, go watch our mock draft from the other day. We talk about our actual picks. We're not reading from Mr. Brian Wilson, who I said I would not deframe his character, but man, oh man, some of these picks were a little bit stupid. So have a great rest of your guys' day. I love you all, as always. Good boy.